This video will cover the National Park Service Law Enforcement Ranger Division. I'm Nicholas, and this is the Law Enforcement Agency Information Channel. The National Park Service Law Enforcement Ranger Division, or NPS-LERD for short, is a civilian-staffed uniformed United States federal law enforcement agency that falls under the National Park Service, or NPS for short, which falls under the U.S. Department of the Interior, or DOI for short. The National Park Service Law Enforcement Ranger Division is responsible for protecting and policing the many national parks, monuments, and trails throughout the United States and its individual territories. National Park Rangers enforce federal and state laws. The reason why they're allowed to enforce state laws as federal officers is because many states consider national park rangers, many states give national park rangers peace officer powers, which essentially allows them to enforce state laws within their state. But aside from that, specific duties of the National Park Service Law Enforcement Ranger Division include patrolling national parks, educating visitors on national park history, National Park Service regulations, and applicable federal and state laws. Investigating crimes taken on national parks, collaborating with local, state, and federal law enforcement agencies, facilitating who comes in and out of national parks, issuing citations for traffic violations on or nearby national parks, and much more. Someone who works for the National Park Service Law Enforcement Ranger Division is known as a National Park Ranger, or a U.S. Park Ranger, or a Federal Park Ranger, all of which would be correct if you said them. But yeah, that's really it for their responsibilities. National Park Rangers have a much more mobile job than state, county, and municipal park rangers. What I mean by that is basically National Park Rangers, as the first word in their name suggests, are required to be capable of operating nationally. In fact, when you join the National Park Service Law Enforcement Ranger Division, or for that matter, any federal law enforcement agency, you are required to sign an agreement that basically says, by signing this agreement, you are admitting that you will travel anywhere within the United States, or to conduct your agency's duties. The National Park Service Law Enforcement Ranger Division is no exception to that agreement. State, county, and municipal park rangers, on the other hand, have a much more flexible job. For example, state park rangers, they also sign an agreement, but their agreement, because they operate at the state level, is that basically you will operate statewide to protect state parks. So you can probably get where I'm going at now. So it's really about the scope of where you will operate is really, when it comes to joining a park ranger position, is really about the level of law enforcement you apply to. But with all this being said, National Park Rangers, and just park rangers in general, primarily work within the national park, within the park they are assigned to. That's really it for that. The National Park Service Law Enforcement Ranger Division reports to the Director of the National Park Service, who reports to the Secretary of the Interior, who reports to the President of the United States. The common rumor that national park rangers do not have jurisdiction outside national parks is actually false. National park rangers statutorily have domestic-wide jurisdiction throughout the United States and its individual territories to protect national parks. So you see, while they primarily focus on protecting national parks, they are not limited to national parks. National park rangers derive their jurisdiction and authority from Title 54 of the U.S. Code. National park rangers train for approximately 20 weeks at the Federal Law Enforcement Training Center in Glencoe, Georgia. The National Park Service Law Enforcement Ranger Division works with multiple law enforcement agencies. A notable agency that the National Park Service Law Enforcement Ranger Division frequently works with is the U.S. Park Police, whom they share concurrent jurisdiction with when it comes to protecting national parks. If it's for a local traffic violation, they cannot. But if it's for a state or federal traffic violation, they can. However, with that being said, if they're pulling you over miles away from a national park for some small local or state traffic violation like speeding, then that's a problem. You see, while the U.S. Code does give national park rangers domestic-wide jurisdiction, it explicitly highlights that the duties they are conducting must somehow overlap with their responsibilities, which is protecting national parks. So if a national park ranger gives you crap 10 miles away from a national park for some small state-level traffic violation, like improper lane change, then you can tell him or her, are you exercising your jurisdiction correctly? Because it's true, and especially if they are not really showing you that much respect, then that would be a fair statement to say. So yeah.